Clippers tonight here at the Moda Center and on your home of the Trailblazers, Rip City Radio 620. In fact, the radio station's the only local spot to catch the game today, as this game is on Amazon Prime, not on the 2.2, not on the local broadcast today. So tuning in on the radio station, get to hear Travis Demers on the call, which is absolutely awesome. And we're going to sit here and get you ready for it. Before we dive into that, though, couple of things to get out of the way. First off, you know the drill. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on the brand new text line, 88528. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. That's business number one. Business number two, hope everyone had a awesome Christmas break. I know I did. I know Brendan did. He and I were just sitting here sharing war stories, and in true Brendan fashion, he brought up food because it wouldn't be the butcher and the slaughter if we weren't talking about food options and getting hungry on a broadcast. So thanks, Brendan.
Chris, what's going on, man? It's good to talk to you. And of course, dude, I got to know what's on the menu, man. I had to ask you about your Christmas Day, spread, because yeah, it was fun. I kind of bucked tradition this year and went and saw a movie on Christmas. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well, man. Hope you had a good Christmas too.
Yeah, we did. I know you did, and you and your 20 brothers and sisters and mom and dad have to cook for an army. So and then shout out to everyone. Hope it was awesome, and thanks to some of our texters chiming in. Happy holidays to CB and the crew. So thank you. And as Chadley said, let's go Blazers beat the LA Slippers, which I like that. That's pretty good. And one of our texters does ask, is the game on 2.2 tonight? And the answer to that is no. It is on Amazon Prime. So for local, you're gonna have to tune into the radio station today. Maybe do the old tried and true thing, where you turn on the broadcast, mute the broadcast, pod the radio up, and get Demers giving you the calls on all those highlights. So that's the skinny on that one. And yeah, Christmas was wonderful. My kids absolutely had a great time. They were picking on me, Brendan, real quick, since you talk about food. My daughter has been picking on me tremendously because I'm a busy guy. You know that. I don't have a lot. Sometimes I can't get to the store because between going to the office job here to the radio station, I leave Moda at midnight. There's no store open. And so, we run out of things. And we were out of soy sauce. And so my daughter's like, yeah, I can't believe Dad forgot he's Hawaiian. Won't get soy sauce in the house. Ooh. So you bet your rear end, my friend, that under that tree from Dad addressed to all the Burkhardt girls was like a gallon of soy sauce. And it was the corniest gift I think I've ever purchased, but got one of the best reactions I think I've ever seen. My daughter opens it and she's like, yes, it's soy sauce. Dad didn't forget he's an Islander. It's like, I was cracking up. And that's what I love about Christmas, is just like, it ain't about how extravagant or how many gifts you got. It's the little thought that goes into them. So it was pretty good.
Oh my gosh, Chris, I'm sitting here, falling over from how funny that is, because I could just imagine your daughter just being like, come on, Dad, like where is that kind of a thing. So that's funny. I'm sure that was a good moment, absolutely. And yeah, same kind of thing, man. The older I get, I just kind of realize the most important thing this time of year is being around the people you love, brother.
Yes, it is. And don't get it twisted. I love your company as well. It's the butcher and the slaughter, my friend. But the Blazers, they are back in action tonight, and hopefully the Christmas break was good for them too, getting 2 nights off and get back to their winning ways, because, I say get back to their winning ways. The wins have been, a little harder to come by than the losses as of late. But this is a team that's good enough to win some ball games. And you thought that coming back home and having the 5-game homestand after having so many games on the road would be helpful, but unfortunately it's been a rough go, and they dropped the first 2 games of this homestand to Detroit and Orlando. And the sad part about the 2 games really is that it was just 2 games that played out just eerily similar to each other. And that was the fact that it was get down big, claw back, do everything you can to get back in the game, and then fall apart late by making some mental mistakes and losing the game eventually. So you have the blueprint from the last 2 games of what not to do tonight against the Clippers. Don't get down big, and then work on those mental mistakes. Still give me the exact same effort you did when you were down by 20. In fact, if I'm Thiago Splitter, I'm just telling everyone, pretend from the tip-off that was a jump ball after you went down 20 zip. And just pretend like you're coming back from down big, because that seems to be when the Blazers play well, and they just can't afford to keep doing that. They don't have enough bodies to come back from these deficits, because obviously the legs just get tired. They start to wear out. They don't have their full complement of players. Obviously, in that game against Orlando, you didn't have Robert Williams, who isn't playing on the second night of back-to-backs, and you still don't have Thibault and Scoot and everybody else that we continue to look at the injury reports and see where they're at. And speaking of which, I mean, tonight you're without Jeremy Grant again, who's dealing with left Achilles tendonitis. Still no Scoot, still no Drew, still no Tease. Chris Murray and Robert Williams were listed as questionable yesterday. They have since been upgraded to probable. We'll see how that impacts the starting lineups and whatnot tonight. But the point is, you can't afford to get down, because you're going to get tired when you're trying to dig yourself out of that hole. And that's something Thiago Splitter has talked about. He doesn't want to play these guys more than 32 minutes a night, but he kind of has to right now, because you got to have the best guys on the court and put yourself in a position to try to win these games, which is rough. They went down 21 against the Pistons. That was their biggest deficit. They went down 17 points. That was their biggest deficit against Orlando. Final score against the Magic was 110-106 in favor of the team from Florida. Now, taking a look at the box score, Paulo Banchero had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 23 points from Desmond Bane. No game winner in this one, though. Wendell Carter had 14 points, 16 points from Tyus Jones. Anthony Black chipped in 22. Leading the way on the bench was Jonathan Isaac with 9. On the Trailblazers side of things, Tumani Kamara had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 13 points for Chris Murray, getting the start for Jeremy Grant. 8 points, 14 rebounds for Donovan Clingan. Denny Audia had 25 points, 8 assists, 6 boards, 22 points from Shaden Sharp, and Caleb Love has 17 points off of the bench. And that kind of brings me to one of our texters who chimes in and says, who's going to win tonight's Chris's Crispy Crunch Time Awards? How about Chris Murray? Well, Chris Murray has been coming in clutch on the glass. He's been getting some very, very timely rebounds, but I don't think you necessarily need him to come in clutch. I think tonight you need Shaden Sharp to kind of go back to what we saw a handful of games ago, where it was those 30-point games back to back to back, and he's offensively looking just absolutely in a groove. I think that's what you need when it comes to getting the crispy Crunch Time Awards. The only question I have to you when you keep texting me about the crispy Crunch Time Awards is if we're going to work with the sales team to get that sponsored, because that absolutely needs to be a sponsor segment. Is that a Krispy Kreme sponsorship, or is that like a Taco Bell Crunch Wrap Supreme type crunchy? Either way, we need to work on that. And again, as is the way of Blazers Game Day, the fifth quarter, courtside, and anytime this knucklehead to my right joins me, food is the topic of conversation.
Always, Chris. I mean, always, man. I mean, it's it's the way we keep things lighthearted and fun. I mean, obviously, we've had many good adventures over the years, man. It's been a small little inside joke that Chris and I have just absolutely went out and ran with. But no, absolutely, buddy.
No, it is funny on the YouTube chat. Kirk says I eat way too much cherry pie.
Ooh,
to which Dirt Monk Fritz chimes in and says, "There's no such thing. There's no such thing." See, when it comes to Christmas time, I'm still hanging on. It's still we have not officially turned the calendar to winter. Therefore, it's still being fall. On technicalities, means pumpkin pie is still my pie of choice. I am also a November baby, so do the math. It's always pumpkin pie all the time. Of course, cherry pie, apple pie, blueberry pie, cheesecake. It's all good. Dessert is always on the menu for me. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, joined today by Brendan Slaughter, who is in-house with me today, which is awesome. We're going to take a quick little break here, though. When we come back, we're going to head down to the Coach's Corner, hear what Thiago Splitter has to say ahead of this game, and continue to get you ready for Blazers versus Clippers right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back to Blazers Game Day. Now welcome back to Blazers Game Day. I told Brendan Day just play it off the top, and then autopilot kicked in, and I just started, let's welcome him back. No, Burkhardt, you still had part of the intro to play. It's my first day. That's what I tell everybody. It is time for the Coach's Corner. As soon as Coach heads to the podium, Brendan will give me the thumbs up. We'll play his audio, hear what he has to say ahead of this game, see if he gives us an update on that starting lineup. As a reminder, Jeremy Grant out, dealing with some left Achilles tendonitis now, kind of a day-to-day situation, but more likely to miss, another week and a half or so probably. So we'll see what happens there. Is it going to be Chris Murray again, even though that's the likely candidate? That's who's been starting in his place. But you do got options. Also, kind of see what happens tonight if maybe you get to see a little Young Hansen. You probably won't because Robert Williams is available tonight. But I did think he looked good against Orlando. Played only 8 minutes, but was efficient with them. And that's what I want. I kind of want to see more of Young Hansen. We can jump into that after Coach because I got some takes on that one. But we'll see what Coach has to say here, and then hopefully, as we talk about this game and get you ready for it, the Blazers can bounce back a little bit. We're talking about a LA Clippers team that isn't the best, to say the least. They've been struggling this season, and they are currently sitting at 13 in the West at 8-21. They've won 2 in a row, but they're 3-7 in their last 10. A lot of talent on the roster. It's just been a struggle to put it together. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. But they're a team right down there that is interesting because not only are they bad, they can't really afford to be bad because their pick is owned by the Oklahoma City Clippers Oklahoma City Thunder, of all teams. A team that really needs to get more money and get richer. Crazy how that works. But I got the thumbs up. Time to head down to the coach.
Well, they're playing better lately. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, they always make it very difficult. Guys that, guarding them one-on-one it's hard for anybody. So we got to be ready to guard them as a team. Get ready for, double team rotations, etc.
Is Rob or Chris able to go tonight?
Yep, they go. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can update us on with regards to Drew?
No, I wish I could give you. It's not there yet, and that's all I can say.
Is there anything in particular, maybe one or two things you feel like you guys need to do better in order to get off this little losing streak you're on now? You guys have played well. You've been up in the fourth quarter, just not able to pull any of those games out.
Well, I think we got to start better, right? Like a lot of those games that we come back, there's a lot of effort to come back, right? Like I think we got to start the games better and, don't let, the teams get ahead of in the first, second quarter where then you got to make a big effort to come back and your tank is empty by the end of the game. So I think we got to be ready earlier.
Well, there was the quickest Coach press game or pregame press conference of the season. Pretty short and sweet and to the point, and quite frankly, spot on. They got to find ways to start better. They got to start better. They can't afford to get down big and run out of energy midway through the games. They have got to let these teams know that they're ready to play from the jump. You go back to what this team said early in the year when they played the Clippers. Yes, they lost, but played the Clippers. They played the Warriors. They played Minnesota to start the season. And what was the storyline coming out of all of those games? Oh, this isn't the same Blazer team of the last few years. They're going to make you work. You're not going to Portland and getting an easy win anymore. That was the first week of the season, and that's kind of flipped on its head. Granted, when you lose Drew Holiday and you lose Matisse Thybulle and you lose Blake Wesley, all guys who have been incredible on the defensive end, that's going to play into it a little bit, but you still need the guys who are here to understand that they can win ball games. They're good enough to win ball games. They're going to lose ball games too. No one is out here telling you that this team is a playoff team or any of that right now. Like, oh yeah, they could be a top 5 team in the West if they just didn't struggle out of the gate. Like, no, we understand that even fully healthy, a lot of us predicted this team was a play-in team or fringe playoff team. So we understand kind of where their ceiling was going in. They understand that. The frustration is the fact that they've let some games slip away that they very well could have won, and they just couldn't get the job done late. So they need to come out ready to go and, full speed ahead right from the jump. Like I joked about earlier, pretend like you're down by 20, because when you're down, you apparently can come back and play pretty well. So play like that for the entire game. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also hit us up on the text line. Just text 88528, or you can jump into the YouTube chat. Just go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, where one of our commenters asks, last 10 seconds, who do you want to take the last shot? It's a good question. It's a good question. I was 50-50. I typed in the chat. But to me, I either want Jeremy Grant taking it or Shaden Sharp. And I know Denny has played incredible basketball and has been the best Blazer on the floor right now. But I like the way Shaden Sharp creates in the mid-range. His three-point shot's starting to come around, so I would trust him. And then Jeremy Grant. He's probably overall, like when it just comes to shooting the basketball, he's probably your best shooter right now. So clutch game situation, I want to let him take those shots. Now, the true answer to your question is a healthy Damian Lillard. Unfortunately, he's not healthy, won't play this year, so he is not a viable answer to the question. However, the question is a good one. But those are probably where I'd go. Denny would probably come in third for me. And it also depends on the situation, though. Because if we're talking it's a 2-point game and coach is drawing it up to take a 3-pointer to win the game, it's Jeremy Grant or Shaden Sharp. If it's a 1-point game, coaches said just run a play, we just need a basket, or it's a 2-point game and you're going for the tie, I want it to be Denny Avdia because the way he attacks the rim. The way he attacks the rim is going to get there. So it's all kind of the situation, right? As Kirk chimes in, I take Denny. He gets fouled, hits 2 free throws. Well, first off, he gets fouled. Does he hit the 2 free throws? That's kind of the question, because we've seen it here in late game situations. He doesn't always hit them. But again, Kirk, as I was just saying, and you were kind of in the same train of thought there, the game situation, I think, matters to me. Now, if you go back, 4 seasons when you have Damian Lillard, I don't care what the game situation is. It's a 3-point game, could be a 4-point game. I'm hoping for a 3 and 1. Could be a 2-point game, 1-point game, tie ball game. I don't care. Give me Damian Lillard, take the shot, because I trust him to do every single thing outlined that we just talked about. But again, 1-point game, 2-point game, you're looking for the tie or the win in that situation, give me Denny all day long. 3-point game, I'm probably going to find a way to give it to Denny, attack the rim, kick out to those shooters, which is why you need shooters in the long run. But Jeremy Grant is definitely, I think, the team's best shooter right now. He's also one of the most, more unorthodox shooters, and I'd love to ask him about this one day. But I've never seen a guy so efficient at shooting the ball without ever actually bringing it down into that shooting pocket. He'll get a pass where he catches the ball at his head and the defender's closing where he doesn't have time, and he just shoots it from there, and he hits those shots pretty easily. I love Jeremy Grant. I've been a Jeremy Grant defender since the day he got here. I like him in the position as 6th man, and unfortunately injuries have moved him around a little bit. But we'll see where he lasts and trade deadline. Of course, you're starting to get all the rumors now on social media, which is just starting to crack me up. Oh, Blazers are interested in trading Jeremy Grant or Robert Williams, or you don't say. You don't say that the Blazers are interested in trading to, continue to build their roster with a guy in Robert Williams who still has value and is on an expiring deal. Who would have thought? Way to really go out on a limb, content aggregation website A. Come on. Oh, my gosh, these AI articles, Brendan, that's what they are, AI articles.
Oh my gosh, I mean, it's that time of year, Chris, and just to chime in my own two cents there, I think you broke it down perfectly. If you need a deep shot or whatever, I'm probably going with Shaden Sharp, but right now, I was telling my family this over the holiday, there's probably not a player that I've seen, and again, there's guys right now, but just me zeroing in on it, Denny Avdia, the way he draws contact, it reminds me of prime James Harden to an extent, where he knows how to morph his body into positions that are going, like, invite the contact, so to speak. Denny getting the rim's awesome. But yeah, pretty much agree with you on that. And then, Chris, like, I mean, AI videos are getting out of hand, man.
Oh, they're
like,
bad.
I've got family members that are sending me TikToks like, look, this is real. I'm like,
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Like, it's getting out of hand, Chris.
It's only a matter of time before one big lawsuit from a celebrity changes the game.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah, you're right.
Now, we did get one of our texters, to get back on track here, said Young should get the last shot. And first off, I've never seen a guy who gets cheered so hard just when he checks in. Like, this fan base loves the guy despite the fact that he's never done anything. And I don't mean that negatively. He's a rookie who doesn't play, but this city just flipping loves him, which I think is great. Every time he checks in, you start to feel it. And then Mark Mason's like, checking in, Young Hansen, the crowd goes nuts. Could you imagine how crazy it would be if Young Hansen ever hit a game winner?
Oh.
Like, if he hit one this year. Like, if he hits a layup, they go nuts. He gets a rebound, they go crazy. You imagine everybody on their feet. Blazers get the big stop down late. He's in because Donovan Clingan fouled out or some craziness. Like, it's the second night of a back-to-back. Robert Williams isn't playing. Donovan Clingan is fouled out. So Young Hansen is put into a tough spot. He has to play because the other team's going big. And he hits a three-pointer to send them to the W.
It blew the roof off.
Moda Center might legit become the first roofless arena in the NBA if that were to happen, and I ain't even playing.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it would. I mean, the support. I mean, it's palpable, Chris, and I'm excited to continue to see him grow. I was mentioning with you that of all the Blazer conversations, the family and I had at Christmas, Young Hansen was one of the popular ones, just kind of talking about his development and what have you. And the fact of the matter is, he's still relatively raw, right? As far as being a player, getting extended minutes, having a defined role, those kind of things. And, I think he'll get there, Chris. I mean, again, small sample size. There was an assist he had against the Magic the other night where, I was just kind of looked at him like it's a window into a small sample size. But I can still see the footwork, the passing, the vision, the things you like that are those intangibles. And I think the speed of the game is going to eventually come up to it. But, I mean, talk about, like, however many weeks it was ago, getting smacked in the face.
Right.
It's been a welcome trial by fire, for sure.
Yeah. But now, since we have spoken this into existence, I definitely want to see a Young Hansen.
Let's do it.
Game winner. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here on Blazers Game Day. When we return, we're going to reshift our focus to this Clippers team. We got some good comments in the YouTube section about how they're old. You need to play fast, and that's not wrong. We'll talk about it. Take a look at the injury statuses as well. All that when we return here on Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Riv City Radio 620. because that's what the Blazers need to do. Is they need to get a W. And as one of our chatters in YouTube was saying, I think Zubac is out tonight, and he indeed is out tonight, and that's going to make a big difference for the Blazers. He sustained a grade 2 left ankle sprain during their win over the Lakers on Saturday. He's expected to be sidelined for about 3 weeks. The team is also without Derek Jones Jr., who is progressing and going through 5-on-5 workouts, but he is dealing with those injuries as well. So without Zubac, that makes a big difference. I think Ivica Zubac has quietly become one of the better centers in the NBA. Just absolutely solid. I mean, absolutely solid. He's going to go get you rebounds. He's going to play decent defense. I mean, he's a world beater defensively, but he's going to block shots, man. And then offensively, he can put up numbers as well. So not having him is a big deal for the Clippers. And then, of course, are you getting, the Kawhi Leonard who wants to play an entire game, or is he, going to sleepwalk through? James Harden is still as good as can be. So a lot of questions there. But you look at what happened last time these two played. You got to go all the way back to the beginning of the season. Game 3, it was Clippers 114, Trailblazers 107 in that one, and Kawhi Leonard had himself a game. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds. He was 11 of 21 from the field, including 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. They had 21 points and 8 boards from Ivica Zubac, so no Zubac today totally changes how they approach their offense as well. James Harden had a quiet 20 points and 13 assists, but was still doing James Harden things. John Collins had 16 points off the bench. Trailblazers legend Nick Batum had 3 points, and then Chris Paul had 6. Happy trails. Happy trails, Chris. So that was what happened there on that night, too. Tamani Kamara had a quiet night. He had just 5 points. Denny Avdia, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. A 9-point-10 game from Donovan Clingan. Drew Holiday was big, 21 points, 7 assists. 6 rebounds. You don't have him tonight. Shaedon Sharpe had 19 points. Jeremy Grant had 17 points. So you have no Jeremy Grant. You have no Drew Holiday tonight. And right there alone, that's 38 points that was scored in that game. So that's going to be an impact on this one. You also had Matisse Thybulle, who had 3 steals. Blake Wesley had 2 steals. So you start to think about the guys who aren't playing, which is just very unfortunate. How did the Blazers attack this Clippers team? And I got to go back to what our YouTube commenter said, and Kedamore, I probably butchered that, and I apologize. But as they commented, play fast. They are old. Now, I'm not going to use the age thing, because you know what? Old men can be fast, too. I say that because I'm an old man, and if I were to cut my old man weight and get back down to my athletic prime weight, which was like 60 pounds ago, I guarantee you I would still be fast. Okay, so old men can be fast too. But that is a way to beat this team, is because you look at the way they like to play. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is always been more of that half-court guy. James Harden, he can move, but he likes to move in that half-court as well. Ivica Zubac, when he's healthy, again, he's not running down the floor like a gazelle. He's a big man, so he moves about as good as you want him to. Really, you can't be too mad. But Nick Batum isn't the same Nick Batum that left Portland. That's 100% for sure. And so you don't have Derek Jones Jr., who now we saw him in Portland. He likes to move up and down and play above the rim. But if you don't have him, that changes it. So, yeah, I think you're 100% spot on with how you want to attack this team. And so I think it plays into the Blazers' favor, quite honestly, because what have the Blazers done exceptionally well this year? In a year that's had ups and downs, one thing that you can hang your hat on is that they're going to try to take advantage and get as many field goal attempts as possible by pushing that tempo and moving really, really fast. So this is the type of game where I think Denny Avdia can excel. He can really get those rebounds. They can push tempo. He can get going downhill. And then with no Zubac in the middle to really impact those shots, I mean, yeah, you got guys like, Brook Lopez, but Brook Lopez ain't the Brook Lopez of, a decade ago, because he's been in this league since I think we celebrated the 99-2000 Western Conference Finals team a couple games ago, and Brook Lopez may have been in the league back then. Not sure. I'll go check. But you get what I'm saying. Back to the whole point of them being an older team. So, yeah, I think pushing the tempo, if you're the Trailblazers, is absolutely what you want to do tonight. So, Tamani Kamara, who can be good getting out in space. Denny Avdia. Shaedon Sharpe's been good there as well. That's what you're going to want to do. Push, tempo, get downhill, run. Run. I think this is also a game that Donovan Clingan could have a big impact down low. Get in the paint, get some easy shots at the bucket. He's going to still try to stretch the floor and get his three-pointers because that's what Donovan Clingan has been doing this year. But again, this does play out well for them when you factor in all the injuries, everything that's going on for the Clippers. The fact that the Clippers have, again, they've won some ball games as of late, but they are not a great team this year. They've absolutely struggled, which is really weird to think of a team. You look at a team and you see right at the top, you see Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, and the first thing that's going to go through your head is, boy, howdy, that's probably a good basketball team. But you look over there, their last handful of games, and they beat the Rockets, which is a huge win. They beat the Lakers, which is a big win because the Lakers are starting to falter a little bit, and J.J. Redick is on their rear end. He's not happy with the way they're playing. But then you look prior to that, they went 5 straight losses, lost to Oklahoma City, just like everybody else except the Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs, who seem to have their number. They lost to Memphis, who's an up-and-down team. They lost to Minnesota, lost to Memphis again. They have losses to Dallas. Another loss, that's to Memphis, so 3 of them right there. A loss to Orlando, a loss to Philadelphia, lost to Denver, lost to Atlanta, double loss to Phoenix. I mean, they've played some good teams, but at the same time, they have not really flipped the script on any of them. You expect even a good team, if the Clippers are good, that's what I'm trying to say, and they're just down in the luck, they're still going to find ways to beat some of these teams and win some of these games, but that just hasn't been the case. They have not been playing good basketball, and teams have been coming in and taking advantage of them to the tune that they only have 8 wins. They're 8-21 on the season. Now your Trailblazers, they're not, some to really write home about either. They're 12-18. They have dropped games that they should win too. So you get into this situation, what's going to give? And I just go back to Kedamore's comment. I really do think that tempo is the way to attack this Clippers team because that's just not their strength. You're not going to get James Harden running up and down the court on defense. You're just not. And so if you can push the tempo, take advantage of that, you're going to put yourself in a good spot. That's how you're going to get to the free throw line if you're Denny Avdia. And that's how you're going to start opening up those shots for Tumani Kamara and Shaedon Sharp. So, yeah, I think that's how you win this game. Brendan, you're over there shaking your head. In agreement, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting game, Chris, because kind of like you mentioned a couple games ago, ahead of the 2 matchups with the Sacramento Kings, if you want to be in the play-in contention, which we know that's what the Blazers are fighting for, and of course better than that, this is one of those games you're going to look back on and be like, you needed it, right? In March, whatever it is. And I go back to, a loss like this against the Pelicans, a loss to the, what I like to call the South Bay Lakers earlier this year. And even though they've got James Harden, they got Kawhi Leonard, and the Blazers are, undermanned, and they're actually an underdog going into this game, this is one of those games at home, following a little bit of, time off for the holidays. I think Portland has to win this game, Chris, simply to continue to put space between them and, that Clippers-Kings range of single-digit wins, so to speak, in the West. And not to mention, they're holding serve. I believe as of today, they're still in the 10 spot and hanging, keeping Dallas on the outside. So I think this is key.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you look at the standings right now, Brendan, and yeah, the Blazers are, in fact, holding serve, as you said, in the 10 spot. They got a game lead over the Dallas Mavericks. They are 3.5 ahead of the Clippers. So this win is good because A, it helps you keep that ground, and B, it just pushes the Clippers just a little further back. And as we mentioned, it's not as if the Clippers are purposely trying to tank. That would be the dumbest thing in the world, and you might have to call and see if like what Presti has on the Clippers, because the Oklahoma City Thunder own that pick, and that's absolutely dangerous for this league, despite the fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder are on a 2-game losing streak, thanks to the San Antonio Spurs, who seem to have their number. But no, this is a big, big game when it comes to, for the Blazers, continuing to try to solidify their spot in that play-in. And realistically, fans, I know that this season has been frustrating because the injury thing is piling up again. People want transparency. You're not hearing a ton of it. Coach Thiago Splitter didn't give a real update on Jrue Holiday when asked about it pregame because there wasn't much to give. But if you factor in all the injuries that they've been dealing with, the up and down play, and the fact that we're getting very, very close to the turn of the calendar to 2026, and they are still very, very much kind of in control of their spot right now in the play-in, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I know people like to pick on me for being Mr. Optimism over here, but schedule's going to get easier. Those injured players are going to start making their way back, and if that all plays out how you want, Portland's going to be in a very, very good spot as long as they take care of business in games like tonight. Losing to Detroit was not good, but I accept it. We're talking about the number one team in the East. Losing to Orlando after the big comeback did not feel great, but you kind of accept it because you look at the standings and you're like, that's a team that's currently 6th in the East. They're a playoff team. I can accept it. Tonight, you're taking on a Clippers team that has struggled to win ball games. Mathematically, record-wise, you are better than. This is the game you want to win. We've talked about how to do it, but exactly how do you do it? We'll talk about it when we come back when it's Keys to the Game here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Time now for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Los Angeles Clippers? Well, back to our point that we were talking about last segment about pushing the tempo. The Clippers are in the bottom of the league when it comes to field goal attempts per game. Why is that? That's because, again, with the way Kawhi Leonard plays, the way James Harden likes to play, they like to play in that half court and kind of play at their own speed. They actually only take 82 or 83.4 field goals per game, which is the second fewest in the league. The only team who takes less is the Los Angeles Lakers. Meanwhile, the Blazers take 91.1, which is the fourth most. So you're going to get the Blazers pushing the tempo versus the Clippers slowing it down. So the key is do not let the Clippers dictate the pace. Control the game, make them play to you. Run that ball, tire them out. And if you do tire them out, then when they do go to those half-court sets, you should be putting yourself in a pretty good spot to hopefully play good defense because you're going to fatigue them a little bit. So play that tempo game that we had talked about earlier. Shout out to Kedamore, who commented that in the YouTube chat as well, because I definitely think they're spot on. Also, it's going to be a massive game for Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams. Clean the glass. You're going to have to rebound in this game. You look at this Clippers team that they come in, and it's not as if they're world beaters on the glass. In fact, they are one of the 4 worst teams when it comes to rebounding. They average 40.9 rebounds. The only 3 teams worse than them, the Kings, the Nets, and the Bucks. Now, what makes that extra impressive and extra important for the Blazers is that without Ivica Zubac, that changes everything because Zubac averages 11.1 rebounds to lead the team. You take those rebounds away from a team that already struggles on the glass. This means that, A, the Blazers can absolutely find some success there, and B, that means offensive rebounds are going to be available. That is something that the Blazers do exceptionally well already. So second chance points, I think, are going to be a really, really big factor in this game tonight. So the Blazers need to be active on the glass and then push that tempo, and I think everything's going to play into their favor tonight against the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, this is the NBA. Things get crazy and end up playing out ways that you don't even expect. But that's what I think the Blazers need to do to get a victory tonight. It's always, as you say, easier said than done. But I do think the Blazers can get it done tonight, even though there's no Jeremy Grant and, there's no Scoot Henderson back yet, no Matisse Thybulle, et cetera. We know. But even without him, I think the Blazers can get the job done. Because don't ever sleep on anyone. Because that's what Cal did after they went up 21-zip in the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. And then my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors took care of business. They took care of business. They came back. They outscored Cal 22-4 in the fourth quarter to grab the W. And you know what? For that, there's only one way to end this show. That's right, the Hawaii fight song. I know you guys know I'm a Duck fan, but as an Islander, I gotta rep my Rainbow Warriors too. There's like 130 D1 teams. I can have 2 favorites. All right, that's going to do it for Blazers Game Day. But coming up next across the Trailblazers Audio Network, Curtis Long has the Trailblazers pregame show. And then, of course, after that, it's tip-off time with your radio voice of the Blazers, Travis Demers, on the call. And when it's all said and done, keep it locked into Rip City Radio 620, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I will talk to you after the game. And as always, go Bows.